Okay, stock market technical analysis. We'll get right into it. Guys, drop me a thumbs up. Feel free to join the private member group if you're interested in additional trade ideas, additional market insights. Check it out, link in the description below. All right, so I guess the market doesn't really want to go anywhere the last couple days. We really have done nothing but chop around. So there's not a whole lot to cover on the broad markets. You'll see here triple Qs. We had this bearish rising wedge, and we have basically just gone nowhere. We're just flat. So I'm looking for a pullback down to about 434-ish on triple Qs. And then that's where the buyer should be at. You look at the daily chart. That would be the bottom of this range. All right. This is the range that we were in for about 6 weeks. We broke the range. We've now recovered the range. Very, very obvious. And that's bullish in general. So pull back to 434, and that's where the buyer should be at. If we don't, and we continue to move higher, it doesn't make a lot of sense from a short side of things to remain short. So if we continue higher, probably want to stop out of any kind of index short position that we have, because we're very likely going to go to the top of the range, which is up here at about 448.50. And I'd say a decent probability that will break out to new highs. Okay, so that's the upside if that happens. Otherwise, down to 434. Okay, if we come down here, the buyer should be there. If they're not, we break back down, then that's a sell signal to break back below the range and drop below 434 on a daily close. That should be a sell signal. That should usher in some of these lower targets, but first things first, we got to get out of kind of this sideways chop we've been in and see where we're going to go next. Okay, so I'm just going to look at some other stuff then. Amazon. So Amazon on the daily chart made a new divergent high. You can see right here. Ran it up. There's a new high from the former high. And momentum is less. So we have negative divergence, a continuation essentially of negative divergence, because that's really been in place for a while. And that's it. This should get sold into. If I narrow it down on the hourly chart, it does look like we're setting up on a bearish rising wedge. All right, there's your bearish rising wedge. Lots of reactions, and we're coming close to the apex of the wedge. So I do believe we'll start to sell down. We're starting to see negative divergence on the hourly, just starting to show up here. And we don't have a sell signal, though. We need to break the wedge. If we break the wedge, widest part of the wedge would be the measured target. And that would set us up for, a push down to what looks to be down around 177 area, somewhere right in there. Okay, so that's it on Amazon. Just potential trade setup, but not actionable. Same with Meta. You can see Meta. I mean, if I go to the daily chart, again, we still have that island cluster top, so we're treating this as a top. We should not get a daily close above that former high at 150 or 532. Rallying into there, that's okay. Nothing's wrong there. But when I narrow it down now to the hourly chart, start to look at the smaller time frame, you can see starting to show some negative divergence now on the hourly. All right, momentum starting to drop off, price continuing a little higher. So looks to me like we are maybe something like that, where we've got the potential for a breakdown. Now, I don't see a breakdown yet. It's just this upward channel with negative divergence. We need to take out support for the sell signal. We don't have that. So until we see that, there's just nothing to really do. Interest rates, you can see the 10-year treasury here on the daily chart. Again, still holding that uptrend line, kind of sitting right at support right now. You've got support, 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 support. So no technical change as of today. And we got 15 minutes left in the market, so they're going to close it right on support, which means, watch next week. This one is important. If next week, and I'm leaning towards this, but next week I'm leaning towards a pop in interest rates and a drop in the markets. Now, if that doesn't happen, and we break this trend line, then markets will likely rally. All right. This one I've been pointing out for a while, and obviously talked about it in the private member group just the other day. But in this one, NTR, just a nice chart. You've got a very clean resistance line, had that marked out. Looks like a bullish falling wedge. Big bullish divergences. I've drawn a lot of lines on this over and over, but big bullish divergences. Breakout, back test, off to the races. Big impulsive move up today, up 5% over the 200-day moving average. There's also some resistance, it looks like. I do have it marked out. That's just kind of the former reaction high. Let me just clean this up. And you can see right in here, it's about, it's about 57.20 or so. And we're above that now. So we'll see where we close. I think it's going to close above it. So in general, just looks like a breakout all across the board above that next level of resistance. So this should run up. My target on this right now is about 69, because if you look at the widest part of the wedge, which is about right there, take that at the point of the breakout, which is here. And that, the major target actually is a little farther. So this might want to run a little bit more than that. You've got 77 or so, but there's a lot of reactions there at 69, so we'll probably get some sort of a pullback there. But in general, that's my target, and that is a move from where we're at now. The upside about 18 to 19% upside on that one. So it looks very good to me. I'm long this one, and I'm a buyer on dips for this one. Oh, gold seeing a nice lift today, and the miners, they all kind of trade in the same direction, so they're all up today. And here's GDX. Now it's making a divergent high. I have a couple problems with gold right now. One, you've got negative divergence. That's clearly obvious. See the momentum dropping off. We're popping up today, making a new divergent high. If this keeps going up, maybe you're going to burn through the divergence. But in general, new divergent high, likely going to get sold into unless I see something change. The other problem I have, interest rates sitting right at support. So if interest rates bounce and move higher, that's going to put pressure on gold. And then if I look at the dollar, the DXY, this one, kind of moving down. It's been chopped through a little bit. You can see, it's kind of chopped through. Maybe I need to adjust this, but, I had it right here. So we'll see. That's not really a sell signal. It's just kind of within the range. So we'll keep an eye on the dollar. That's the DXY. And then let's look at dollar futures. Yeah, the dollar futures, you can see on this one, there's several ways to kind of draw it. I can't quite make that a trend line because I only have 2 data points. If I draw this, let's grab this line right here. If I draw this one, couple data points, but not really a ton. So the dollar's a little unclear to me. So we're at this potential resistance line. You can see it right here. All right, there's some resistance, and we're right there. So the dollar might want to pull back, but longer term, you got this upward trend line that the dollar's been kind of moving higher. And we probably need to adjust that since the futures have kind of rolled. But in general, it's an upward trend. You're making higher lows, higher highs. So I don't see enough in the dollar, and especially those interest rates, that make me extremely bullish on gold. And I do have some negative divergence in the miners. When I look at gold and just the gold futures, no real negative divergence on that one. I do have, it looks okay. It looks, in general, it looks relatively healthy. Maybe an uptrend like that. So this could run up and make a new high. All right, if it does it soon, if we pop up and put in a new high right here, that's going to be a divergent high most likely, because you're going to have momentum will very most likely be lagging behind. So, all right, we'll keep an eye on that. No strong opinion on gold. If I'm not shorting it. I think it can run up maybe briefly and put in divergence. Okay, I really don't see much else. I'm really struggling to see any real technical change today. So I'll just wrap the video up. You guys drop me a thumbs up. Catch you guys on the next one. Bye.